Hello, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. Got to tell you about something that I heard about. There was a husband and a wife who were driving through Louisiana, and they approached Natchitoches. They started arguing about the pronunciation of the town. Boy, they just going back and forth at it. And then they stopped for lunch. And at the counter, the husband asked the blonde waitress, "Before we order, could you settle an argument for us? Would you please pronounce where it is that we are very slowly?" So she leaned over the counter and she said, "Burger King." Oh, I like that one. All right. There was a math teacher who said, if I have 5 bottles in one hand and I have 6 bottles in the other hand, what do I have? Well, one eager student answered the question, a drinking problem. Okay. All right. Enough of the jokes. Let's begin to get into our 10 questions that I'll be asking you that are worth a point apiece. And then there will be 2 bonus questions that are worth 3 points apiece, or you lose 3 points. You don't have to answer the bonus questions, but if you don't get all the points. So there's a total of 16 points to be had. So let's begin with our first set of questions. Where was Jesus rejected when he first started preaching? Was it Nazareth, Bethany, or Capernaum? Luke 4, verses 14 through 30 tells us it was Nazareth. Number 2, when Moses asked the Israelites be released from bondage, who refused to let them go? Was it Herod, Nebuchadnezzar, or Pharaoh? Exodus 5, verses 1 and 2 tells us that it was the Pharaoh. Number 3, which prophet was Queen Jezebel trying to kill? Was it Elijah, Elisha, or Hosea? 1 Kings 19, verses 1 through 3 tells us that it was Elijah. Number 4, what did Arat, Sinai, and Nebo all have in common? They're all rivers, they're all prophets, or they're all mountains. Genesis 8, verse 4, Exodus 19, verse 18, and Deuteronomy 34, verse number 1. And I bet everybody got this right. They're all mountains. Number 5, what are we supposed to put in order to stand against the schemes of the devil? What are we to put on in order to stand against the schemes of the devil? Clean clothes, the armor of God, or spiritual glasses? Ephesians 6, verse 11 tells us it's the armor of God. Now, here comes our bonus question. Remember, you don't get any help with this. There's no multiple choice. And it's always related to this last question, this 5th question I just asked. All right, here we go. Here's the question. What are we to do always? What are we to do always? Ephesians 6, verse number 18 says we are to pray. Hope you did well on that last bonus question. Let's move on to our next round of questions. Number 1, on Paul's 3rd missionary journey, where did he plan to go after stopping in Macedonia and Greece? Was it Athens, Damascus, or Jerusalem? Acts 19, verse 21 tells us that it was Jerusalem. Number 2, while still in Ephesus, who became angry with Paul and the disciples and instigated a riot against them? What is it, Titus, Lysis, or Demetrius? Acts 19, verses 24 through 29 tells us that it was Demetrius. And he was a silversmith. You know, he thought that Paul was teaching against these false gods they were making, and it was going to cause them to lose their income. That's the reason why he did that. Number 3, Demetrius and the other silversmith made silver shrines to which goddess? Artemis, Hera, or Athena? Acts 9:24 tells us that it was Artemis. Number 4, which of Paul's travel companions from Macedonia found themselves in the middle of a riot and were dragged into the city theater? Was it Dionysus and Damaris? Was it Gaius and Aristarchus? Or was it Silas and Apollos? Acts 19:29 tell us that it was Gaius and Aristarchus. All right, number 5. Who tried to settle the riotous crowd but was rejected because he was a Jew? Was it Aquila, Demetrius, or Alexander? Acts 19, verses 33 through 34 tells us that it was Alexander. Now, here comes the bonus question. Are you feeling smart? Well, let's see how smart you are. Who finally settled the crowd? Who finally settled the crowd? Answers found in Acts 19, verses 35 through 41, and it is the town clerk. Well, I hope you did well. Let me know if you got all 16 points. Again, these were fairly easy. I could see where you could miss a couple, but I think probably most of you are probably going to do pretty well with this section of Bible questions. And so I hope you guys have a wonderful week.